Hello, YouTube and TikTok. I feel about as rough as I look right now. This is my vlog for the 16th of December. It's the morning of the 17th right now. And I woke up with a migraine. I spent 20 minutes or so lying in bed. I've taken the medication I've got. So I'm on a lot of painkillers right now. And it's easing off enough that I feel like I can talk on camera. I've got one more tablet I can take if it gets worse. It's kind of my ripcord pull when, in case of emergency kind of thing. So, books. I've been reading. I restarted The Lies of Locke Lamora. Now, this book is really good. I am 151 pages in. As you can see there. I really should start using my bookmarks again. I had nice little index cards I was using as bookmarks. I've got to box them somewhere. I don't know what I've done with them. Anyway, I restarted it because I was reading it over November and October. And I had a lot of migraines back then. So I was reading kind of in a daze. And whilst I really enjoyed what I was reading, I realised that when I'm having migraines, I really struggle to, retain what I'm reading. So, what I read yesterday, I'll be fine, but if I started reading right now, given that I'm feeling delicate, I may not retain what I'm reading. So it's probably best that I give it an hour or two before I read. Which is a pain. It means that when I do have these migraines, I can't sit and read. Which you'd think it's a nice, slow, relaxing activity that might help you feel better, and it does, but if I actually want to remember what I'm reading, then I'm better off not. Hello. The cat showing an interest. Oh, you're going to try and climb up on me? Okay, there we go. She's been very affectionate recently. Which is fine. It's fine. She doesn't seem to be in any pain. She doesn't seem to be in a bad way. She's just very definite when she wants cuddles. She'll clamber up onto me, physically climb, even if I'm in a sitting position, and make me hold her. Like, my hand is now holding this cat, and there is no way that I'm getting my hand back. But it's fine. She's become quite an effective mouser, haven't you, love? Yeah. In the last couple of months, she's managed to bring me multiple dead mice. So, one thing I do know is that I'm not going to get overrun with mice, because I didn't even know I had mice. Like, I've had mice before, and generally speaking, you hear a little bit of skittering, you hear movement in the walls, you see signs of something being nibbled, and then you've realised you've got a mouse. No signs at all, which means the mouse couldn't have been here for very long before she found it. She is very efficient, which is good, because it means that the mice aren't getting into the food and shitting in my cupboards and things like that. She's doing her job. Yeah, most effective mouse deterrent that I've had so far. One thing I have been thinking a lot on has been BookTok, which is a subset of TikTok. I've noticed I've been watching more BookTok now than I have been BookTube, since I've been posting these videos up on TikTok. And I've noticed that there's a very obvious difference between BookTok and BookTube. Whilst BookTube is very leftist, that's something I've pointed out many times before, and they've got a lot of biases, they at least read a good variety of books there. By contrast, BookTok does not read anything close to the diversity. I use that word on purpose, that the BookTube used to, or currently still does even. There is a very clear list of books that are read on BookTok, and it is extremely frivolous and lowbrow. Now, I say this in a way that is almost certain to get people's backs up, because people are going to take this and think, oh, you're just being a book snob. No. I mean, I'm reading just standard fantasy books, like Liza Locklemoore is just a normal fantasy book. There's nothing, unduly special about it. It's not like I'm reading only classics or anything like that. Not that reading only classics makes you better than anyone, which is something I've spoken out against many, many times. No, my issue is different. With BookTok, I've noticed that there's only a couple of books that seem to get mentioned a lot. And they are almost all fantasy romance, or as they've been coined on BookTok, romancity, which is just not fantasy. It's not. It's a teen targeted YA romance book that has fantasy elements, very, very broad fantasy elements. The fantasy elements in these books are set dressing, little more than that. It's an excuse to make the male love interest a vampire or a fey creature or a werewolf or sometimes an angel or something along those lines. It's just so that they can make them non-human or magical in some way or mysterious, but without having them just be some bloke. It's just porn. That's what it is. If you look at what a lot of the people on BookTok are reading, it's pornography. It's pornography made for little girls. And it bothers me. It bothers me quite a lot. Not that it exists, not that people read it, I don't really care that much. It bothers me that this is all that people talk about. When people talk about books on BookTube, they talk about the book, they talk about the characters, the plot, the pacing, they talk about various different things. They're often talking through a woke lens, which is annoying as hell, but they at least discuss the books. On BookTok, they do the same woke pandering. It's all identity politics, this, and representation, that. But the only other thing they seem to talk about is spicy books, which is just shorthand for pornographic. If we were to take the male equivalent, imagine that we had a bunch of guys talking about action and sci-fi films, because guys tend to be more visual. They prefer TV and film over books. More women read than men. More men tend to play video games and watch films than women. It's why the woke women-only Avengers films that pointedly say they're not for men keep failing. It's because, well, they're not made for men, and men are your target audience. Imagine if all these men started sharing their favourite pornography and talking about their favourite pornographic videos and treated them as if they were equivalent to a standard film. That's how it feels when every single BookTok video I see is talking about spicy books. It's uncomfortable. And that's all I see. It's not only is it spicy books, it's YA spicy books. This is porn made for teenagers. And there's something about that that just skeezes me out. Am I being unreasonable? I don't think so. What do you guys think?